podcast, and I'm joined with
Jack
Jack
Minneapolis.
from Minneapolis. And he just brought up an interesting question. He's moving over here to Dallas, which is a great city, I think. And there are a lot of great places to live out here. And he asked me about the state that I'm in, as far as, or the state that I'm from, which is Pennsylvania, as far as it being a swing state. Personally, as far as like the election is concerned, right? My thoughts is that, and you're going to think this is crazy.
Yeah.
People that Pennsylvania will be red, but Texas might be blue.
Yeah, a lot of people say that. I personally, I'm very into the data and stuff like that. I actually think Texas will be more red than it was in 2020. And I think Pennsylvania will also be red as well.
Really?
Yes, I do.
That's interesting. Yeah, I feel like, when you go around certain places and you see the signs up and everything like that, it's easy to assume that it's going to be this or it's going to be that. But a lot of people are talking about the election. A lot of people are, what's the word that I'm looking for?
Enthusiastic or not enthusiastic about
I would say both. I would say both.
Yeah.
But then, it's interesting to see like people's point of view, right?
Yeah.
But I tell you, the most interesting thing to me is like when I go on social media.
Yep.
And I don't know if you're ever on social media, if you look at the things that are on there. When people go with the ad hominem attacks.
Yep.
It's like people want to attack someone and call people names because of their political view.
Right.
And you cannot even have a political point of view. So I posted something on Instagram. No, I didn't post anything. I responded on a post.
Yep.
And people were calling me this and calling me that. And mind you, I didn't support any candidate in the post.
They assume a lot. People make a lot of assumptions.
People make a lot of assumptions. I'm not supporting either candidate, right?
Yeah.
But what I find interesting is that how you can ask people a simple question as to why do you think the way you think about your candidate or the other candidate?
Yeah.
And instead of having a valid reason as to why they think the way they think, they want to attack people. Which tells me that they don't even know why they think the way they think.
No, a lot of times people have no idea. In reality, there's a lot of videos where they'll say, well, why do you support your candidate? And people just draw blanks left and right. They're just in it because they love to attack other people. And it's honestly terrible to do that because a lot of people are single issue voters, right? But they all of a sudden assume a lot of other things about that person because they support a certain candidate, and they usually make it as extreme as possible, right? Like, oh, if you support this person, then you're this, this, and this, and if you support the other candidate, then you're this, this, and this. Yeah. When in reality, it could be like, all right, my family was, it's not me, but it's an example, you could say, oh, I grew up super religious, so I was taught to be pro-life, or I grew up in not a religious family, and I was taught to be pro-choice, and that's the only thing I care about. I don't care about anything else. Well, how are you going to label somebody all these other things when they're really just voting for a single thing? Social media is, you're taking the people that think that are the most informed, and they treat it that way. That's why they want to attack everybody else. But a vast majority of people don't think much about the election until 2-3 weeks before.
True.
And then they vote for just a single thing, and that's it. So
and they don't know. They don't know. Nobody really knows what's going on. But people vote based off tradition, like, oh, I'm traditionally, a Democrat, so I'm gonna vote Democrat, or I'm traditionally a Republican. My family is, so I'm voting Republican. And there are families that go at odds based off of something as much as like who votes for who.
Oh yeah, I can tell you as like a single guy, even in Minneapolis, like you say families go at odds. I've been on dates where one of the first questions is, well, who are you voting for? Or are you Republican or Democrat? And then people, like, dates will end within 5-10 minutes, or a date will go great, that comes up maybe on the second or third day, and it's game over. And to me, I think that's terrible for our country. I think you really need...
you're right.
You need to be able to get along with people of opposing views. That's what has made our country what it is for so long, is people that have different political views can be married, they can be great business partners, they can be great co-workers. That's what makes our country great, is people with different opinions coming together.
And still respect the person, even though they don't agree with that person's point of view. But I feel like it's just been an infection from media and social media.
Yeah. And
when you see things on social media, people are so triggered to respond, not realizing that, and this is just my personal belief, my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Majority of the time, you're responding to bots.
Yeah, literally.
Like, that's all this is just bots. This is AI.
Yeah.
that you're responding to, and being as though it sounds human. You go to that page and you be like, well, wait, what are you talking about? Or you ever see a comment that doesn't seem like it even matches what the post is about?
All the time.
You'll see something about dating and be like, that's a Trump voter. Like, where do y'all get this?
Yeah, they just make it's a lot of assumptions.
Exactly.
Or it's AI, like you said.
So I feel like a lot of the comments, I feel like if everybody took a break from social media for a month,
Yep.
nobody in the world posted anything for 1 month, you would come back to comments, posts, and everything that was still being posted by these bots.
Yeah, so you literally think it's bot farm. Like a lot. I mean, I know that candidates do this in politics too because they want to seem like they're winning and have momentum. So they'll get bots to comment on everything and hate on everything, and then it looks like they're the majority opinion when in reality it's just bots. I mean, I get the strategy.
Yeah, but not even just based off of the candidates. It might go far beyond the candidates. It's just about the system. I mean, these the things in the algorithms that draw you in on social media, like you see these things because it gets you to comment. The more you're commenting, the more you're engaged, the more your engagement, the more for the company, the more for the whether it be Meta or whether it be Google or whatever.
Yep.
The longer you're engaged, the better for the company.
Yep.
So I feel like a lot of the engagement is being drawn by bots. And if someone creates an individual page, it would be smart of them to have a bot to help draw in, conversation.
Yeah.
But that's the reasons why I don't get too invested if someone was to respond to me when they someone responded to me this morning, you're this and you're that and you're that type of person. I'm like, where do you get this from?
Yeah, even though you're literally not supporting either.
But they commented on one of my posts was just a picture of me.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't in response to anything that I said.
Really?
And it says you're talking bad about third world country, which I've never done.
Yeah.
My response was, what third world country did I talk bad about?
And they can't give you they don't answer. They don't give you
So what I believe is the constant engagement, when we engage with these bots on social media and the media, then my belief is that we teach them how to respond, and we teach them how to even start or initiate things that they can do that they can trigger people into commenting.
Yeah.
So like I always take it like, well, it may be something, it may be an actual person or it may not be. But I feel like the social media itself in general has done a lot to infect people and affect people in a negative way. So when it comes to whether it be a political view, the big thing now is the whole dating issue, or maybe this is just my algorithm. Maybe your algorithm doesn't come up like this. But it seems like it's certain things that contribute to the divide between men and women when it comes to like dating. And things of that nature, things that show women's infidelity, things that show men as being cheaters, and things that show that you can't trust this person, you can't trust that person, things that are anti-marriage. And I feel like even for someone like you're a single male, like that makes dating somewhat hard, right?
Yeah, I definitely think it's gotten a lot harder because of that. And it goes back to the assumptions. I mean, social media in general is leading to a whole new world of thinking, like you're saying, just based on what people are seeing constantly. And a lot of it's not even real, like you're saying. But a lot of people don't know what a bot is or that a bot even exists. I mean, there's plenty of people that use social media that literally have no clue what that is. Like, I mean, if you pulled some random person off the street and you said, well, what's a bot on social media? They'd say, well, what are you talking about? Right? So it's like, what do we do about that problem? I mean, I think X has made some strides to try and alleviate that with the whole, like, you pay $10 a month and then they promote, basically you get the blue check mark if you pay $10 a month or whatever. I don't know what the price is now, but then they promote those replies ahead of people that don't, because you have to go through verification to get that. So it's not a bot. Right, so I think, I mean, that's like a smart way to kind of hopefully quell some of the bots,
or a way to generate income, which I'm definitely not mad at. A business generating income, I can respect it.
Yeah.
But like either way, like that's still a smart way to go about doing it. But then also, like when you see something, when I see something on social media, and it creates a specific emotion in me, the first question that I ask myself, and the first question I think everybody should ask themselves is, why do I feel this way? What is it about this post that makes me think this way? How does this make me feel towards women? How does this make me feel towards this presidential candidate or that presidential candidate? And why am I feeling this way? What do I really know? And this is another thing people got to ask themselves: what do I really know about the situation? When you see posts that are reposts from like news media channels.
Yep.
It's like sometimes when you see things on social media, it's just half the story. And unless you see the beginning, the middle, and the end, how can you validly judge? I don't know if validly is a word, but how can you judge the story properly?
Yeah. It's interesting. There's like an app out there now that talks about, all these news stories that you see, and they basically aggregate all the news publications that a lot of people when they're reading stuff like that. Right? So it literally is an app that will say, okay, there's a story today about the Dallas Cowboys won the Super Bowl, and then it gathers every single article written about that, or like the top 10, and shows you all the titles, so you can basically see how like the overall judge or the overall view of that story is, because you can see how a bunch of different people are covering it, if it makes sense. Because like
that makes perfect sense.
You can't get the true story just from reading one quick news story or one quick thing, because some will only tell you half the story, some will use a different headline than others.
I feel like
that kind of stuff.
That's smart though, but I feel like when it comes to news and news media, it's always best to look at both arguments.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the best thing that anybody can do to get a proper assessment and look at both arguments without emotion. Some people stick to one news channel and say that the media is this, but everybody that only sticks to one news channel, whether it be CNN or whether it be Fox, like everybody believes that news media is FOS, but at the same time, you watching one of those channels. So what makes one channel not telling, the truth, and the other channel telling the truth? I don't believe that. I believe that it could be falsehoods on both sides, and unless I'm watching both sides objectively, then at that point I can get a good judge as to what's going on. But even still then, I don't know everything that is going on, if that makes sense.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of hive minds called confirmation bias. People like to watch what confirms what their preconceived notions are in life. So if you're more left-leaning, you like CNN because they're going to be confirming what you believe, and it makes you feel good. Same thing on the right if you watch Fox. I do think, though, that less people than ever are watching the mainstream media and switching over to independent break points. And they have people from both sides on each segment they do, and it's very neutral. They literally don't have an agenda. It's the only kind of not mainstream, but bigger publication out there that I've seen that truly tries to be neutral, covers Kamala negatively, covers Trump negatively. They really show both sides. So I definitely think that'd be something.
I feel like something like that is pure though. But all in all, you still got to, take it with a grain of salt, I guess, right?
Yes, sir.
But listen, it was great talking with you. I appreciate that.
Nice to meet you.
And hopefully, you find everything that you've been looking to find out here.